Hello and welcome to another video from It's Only Electric. Today we are comparing these two cars, the Volkswagen ID.3 with the recently reviewed Renault Megane EV60. This is running the big battery though, so keep that in mind. The prices are exactly the same, and then I'm comparing this one, the EV60, with the Volkswagen ID.3 Pro Performance. Exactly the same price, almost the same battery size. The ID.3 has the 62 kilowatt hours gross capacity, whilst this one has 60 kilowatt hours of capacity. The range of this one is 450 VLTP kilometers compared to the 420 VLTP kilometers that this one has. So almost the same range, almost the same battery size, exactly the same price. When it comes to size of these cars, this car is 100 kilos heavier than that one. That will probably affect the consumption, and that's also why the VLTP range of this one is a bit higher. Both in red, King's Red, a little bit darker compared to the Flame Red on this one. Both are good. I think this is a bit more flamey and sporty than that one. But in sunlight, this one also changes character a bit. We're gonna test these cars and test the consumption in my 80 kilometers test cycle. That's a mix of 50, 70, 90 and 110 kilometers test cycle. The average speed is around 85 to 90 kilometers per hour. So we're going to drive that cycle with both cars and see which one of them that scores the lowest consumption. And also after that calculate the expected range of these cars. So real world range. It's 4 degrees outside. The roads are a bit wet, so that will also affect the range. Both cars are running on winter tires, the exact same winter tires. It's studless Scandinavian winter tires, Nokian Hakka R3. This car is running on 19-inch wheels, whilst this one is running on 20-inch wheels. I'm also gonna compare the noise level of the car by measuring the noise in different speeds and see which one of the car that's most silent, and also do some acceleration tests with professional measurement gear, not with my phone or by counting frames. So let's jump in and try. We will start with the Renault Megane first, and after the first test with this car, do the exact same thing with the Volkswagen ID.3. So let's jump in. I'm doing a consumption test on the Renault Megane EV60 with the 60 kilowatt hour battery. I have made a 80 kilometers long driving cycle where I always stick to the speed limits, always drive the car in eco mode. That's what the test is based on. So I've just started and we're gonna compare this to the ID.3 later on. So we are very soon to hit the halfway, 40 kilometers. The average consumption is, for the moment, 16.1 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. The roads are still semi-wet, not very wet, but somewhere in between. But I expect the ID.3 to have around the same consumption here. But let's see that later. So we just finished the first test cycle of the Megane E-Tech, 79.9 kilometers. Average consumption 16.9. That's a bit higher than I expected, but due to wet roads, that's probably normal. So now we have just started the test cycle for the ID.3. We have been driving 3 kilometers. The AC is set to auto in 18 degrees. Exactly the same as in the other car. We're running the car in eco mode, so best possible eco driving, and we are keeping to the speed limits all the time just to keep the consistency up. So let's see how this turns out. What do you think? Who will win this consumption test? The ID.3 or the Megane E-Tech? We have been driving for 25 kilometers. Now it's a bit slower, 80 kilometers per hour. The average consumption for the moment is 18 or 17.0 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometer. So approximately the same at this current position as the Megane E-Tech. This car has about the same noise level. It sounds a little bit less noisy. I'm not sure. We need to look at the results to be able to see that. It's a solid built car, of course. It's a Volkswagen, so that's obvious in this case. But you feel that it's a little bit heavier in the travel, in the suspension travel, but it's very calm and comfortable. It's not a sport suspension in this car. It feels a bit more comfortable than the suspension in the Renault. It's only a slight difference. I mean, they feel very comparable. I can't say that this one is a lot better than the other one, so they are on the same level when it comes to comfort. Keep in mind though that the Renault is running on 20-inch wheels instead of the 19-inch wheels on this car. That of course makes some kind of a difference when it comes to travel and comfort. When it comes to the seats are about the same. Let me say it this way, it's traditional comfort seats. They have nothing to do with sporty driving. It's more or less comfort in focus. We have finalized half of this test cycle, 40 kilometers. Average consumption, 16.8 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometer. When driving in sharp turns, you feel the extra weight of this car. The car is leaning a little bit more and you feel that it's heavy. Otherwise, a good driving experience, and it feels like the consumption is going to end up the same way, the same amount as the E-Tech. Let's see, 40 kilometers left. One big difference between these two cars that makes the driving experience a bit different is that the Renault is a front-wheel drive car versus this one that's rear-wheel drive. That gives you different behavior when you drive the car. I actually prefer rear-wheel drive. It feels better to drive than front-wheel drive, and you can also utilize the power more. The Renault actually gives a bit more wheel spin when accelerating. That can also be due to the winter tires. It will be a little bit better with summer tires, but still, this one, it's more solid when accelerating. So we are back home. We have just finalized the cycle, the consumption cycle of 80 kilometers. The average consumption is 17.9 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometer. That's a bit higher than the Renault Megane. Keep in mind that this is the Pro S version, so this is actually approximately 100 kilograms heavier than the Performance Pro version. So I will do a small deduction in consumption to compensate for that. I'm done with this session. It's time to summarize and sum up what I have come across with. It's two very similar cars. They are really competing in the same league, in the same car class, both when it comes to price, power, size, etc. It's two very different styles. The E-Tech feels more sporty and modern, whilst the ID.3 feels a bit more classic and more grown up when it comes to the design. I prefer the E-Tech though. Software wise, I prefer Android before Volkswagen's own software. Currently there's a lot of bugs when it comes to Volkswagen software. I know they are working on it, so hopefully it will be fixed soon. The winner of the consumption test, the 80 kilometer cycle, is the Megane E-Tech that scored a consumption of 16.9 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. That's a bit better than the 17.9 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers that the Volkswagen did. The Pro S version is 100 kilograms heavier than the Pro Performance version. That's more comparable to this E-Tech EV60. But the E-Tech is running on bigger tires, 20-inch wheels instead of 19-inch wheels. The tire size, the tire width are exactly the same, 250 millimeters. And it is exactly the same tires. The roads was also a little bit more dry when driving the ID.3, so I don't need to do a deduction because of the weight difference, because that's eaten up by the different wheel size and by the a little bit more dry road. So E-Tech a bit more effective. So this translates into a 325 kilometers of real world range during winter time, plus 3-4 degrees wet roads, compared to the ID.3 that scored a 324 kilometers of VLTP range, winter time, same conditions. So there is actually no difference. And that's more or less because of the battery size of the ID.3 is 2 kilowatt hours bigger than the battery size, the gross capacity of the E-Tech. So we get the same range at the end, at least during winter time. When it comes to noise levels, I feel that both cars is really silent, comfortable to drive when it comes to noise. This car, the Renault E-Tech, has a bit more noise going on around the windows. I don't know if it's the window seals, but there is a bit more noise, but overall they feel the same. And when I actually measured the noise level in both cars, they almost scored the same. So in all speeds, 50 kilometers per hour, 70 kilometers per hour, 90 kilometers per hour, and 110 kilometers per hour, the ID.3 scores 1 decibel lower in all speeds. I don't think you can't even hear the difference, so they sound about the same. But both cars has a good soundproofing and the comfort is great. So almost no difference. Then I did some acceleration tests. Since the ID.3 is the one with the bigger battery, it's not the Performance Pro version. On paper it should do 7.9 seconds. I actually managed almost 8 seconds flat on wet road, and I think it was 17 or 19% state of charge. So that's pretty good. The little brother, the Performance Pro, should do 0 to 100 in 7.3 seconds. I think that's achievable because it's a lighter car. The E-Tech though had a hard time to get traction because the roads were a little bit wet. I even tried it on dry roads, but I think the combination of front wheel drive and winter tires, friction tires, is not perfect for a front wheel drive car. I did a couple of runs. I think I did 4 or 5 different runs. The best possible time I got with this E-Tech is 8.03 seconds, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. And 0 to 60 miles per hour translates to 7.64 seconds. So it's a decent score, but this car should be able to do 7.4 seconds, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. So it's a bit higher than that. I did expect it to get a better time, but I really tried. So if you are interested in and think that acceleration is important for you, at least up to 100, then the Volkswagen scored better. But this car, the E-Tech, is more punchy in higher speeds. It's a lot more acceleration. For instance, when you floor it from 30 or 40 kilometers per hour, then you really feel the punch. It's a whole nother level than you feel in the ID.3. That's my summary of the comparison between the E-Tech and the ID.3, and I hope this gave you some good information and usable information. The battle of Europe is over. Do we have a winner? No, I don't think so. The cars are too similar. The specs are too close to each other. So it ends up to be more or less about your taste and the style of the car you like. Do you like French cars or do you like German cars? Do you like front wheel drive, rear wheel drive? The E-Tech has a bit smaller back seat, but it has a bigger boot. So do you need a bigger boot or do you prefer a bigger back seat? It's up to you. So it's very small differences when it comes to this car. And I think it's depending on your taste and what you like. If you are interested in more information about each car, I have made reviews of them both. I've also made like 5 bad and 5 good things with the cars. You have the links here. Just click one of the videos and watch them if you need more information. Don't hesitate to ask me any questions in the comments below. I'll try to answer everything that you guys write. So keep the comments flowing. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to help me to be able to continue doing this kind of content for you guys. So subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. That's it for now. Thank you for watching. Speak to you soon.